round 6. We've got...
This is table 4. So we're doing the last round right before top 8. So right now we've got Matt Hart playing as Chris Juliano. So this is mono red or red white burn against Boggles.
Yep.
So both these players are X1. So the winner of this will end up making top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
This is the
something crazy
last
happens.
table of... I think the second last table of... Wait, maybe not. We got a lot of them here. Table 4 has to play, table 5 has to play, and table 6 has to play.
So just catching you up, Matt's at 9 life against Chris's 16, but the tide's trying to turn in. Matt led probably Delayed Cover Scout into Hyena Umbra into Daybreak Coronet. So now his bottle is a 5/5. He's coming across for 5 lifelink, and Chris is in a pretty tough spot.
All right, so we've got this is kind of a clean cut in a lot of ways here. It's almost a clean cut. It's the table 1 and table 2 are going to both double draw as they have previously. Table 3 has to play John Finkel and Brandon Klein. Table 4 has to play Chris Juliano and Matt Hart, which we're watching right now. Table 5 has to play Joe Countryman and Devin Connolly. And then table 6, Aiden Colligan at 12 points and Evan Garcia Renart, the other Devin's friend who I mentioned earlier, at 12 points and 10 points. It's possible that a 10-pointer makes top 8 in that regard, but otherwise it'll be all the X1s have to play, and all the XO2s have to draw. And we will. That's why we're watching this one. This is table 4 of the X1s. So these guys are comfortably in, locked with a win and 100% out with a loss.
Yep, absolutely. So Matt took the...
Matt's at 9?
Oh, so what happened last turn is Chris blocked his Goblin Guide, and then Lightning bolted it.
His own Goblin Guide, yes.
Yep, to avoid the lifelink. And then now Matt has more bottle, or more auras going on his dice, adds a Keen Sense. And so now Chris is even more incentivized to block, and he runs back the same play, just bolting his die.
Does Chris have...
Skullcrack?
Yeah.
Yep, he has got 4 Skullcrack main deck. He's just playing red-white burn. Mm-hmm. No green cards in the main deck, but he has Destructive Rubber Ray in the sideboard.
Matt's at 9, so we can see Chris cast Skullcrack, but it has to matter. Like, he has to be able to do it so that he can untap and win the game the next turn, because if he doesn't, like, it's not going to...
Right.
It's not really going to do anything.
If Matt gains any life at all, it kind of just pushes Chris right out of range.
And you can see Chris has Lava Spike and Skullcrack in hand.
So Matt's coming across for 5-6 total. And he will gain some life, and Matt will go up to 14, and Chris will fall 10. And then he gets to draw 2 cards off the 2 copies of Keen Sense.
If Chris had sequenced that differently, it could have been... he may have just drawn the copy of... Oh, what just happened here?
He Boros Charmed. Up. And
he died.
Chris had a
Matt
bunch
gained
of...
a million life and he died.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Chris had a bunch of Serene Blazes as well.
I got some crud on the lid of my Red Bull, and it's giving me an anxiety attack.
Oh, no. The Poppy needs his Red Bull. All right, so let's see. Matt can bring in 4. He has 4 Leyline of Sanctity in his sideboard, and 3 Suppression Field, which I don't think he's gonna bring in. He's got 3 Gaddock.
This is like not the matches that a burn player wants to see,
no.
right?
This
is
like
the Daybreak
possible.
Coronet untargetable deck is not.
Yeah, this is not how you drew it up. Yeah, not at all. So we got 4 ley lines probably coming in for Matt. Those seem pretty good. And Matt has a Spirit Link in his sideboard. That's probably what he's bringing in. Let's see.
Matt's is really swingy though too, right? Because if a Revelry hits the life gain enchantment,
it's just like
they can
over.
easily turn the corner.
No, absolutely.
Back the other way.
It's definitely one of those matches where
Boggles doesn't have a ton of interaction.
No, Boggles has to kind of put together
paths.
their draw pretty quick. They have to kind of do their thing and hope that the burn deck can't interact with their life gain enchantments. But the burn deck has 4 Destructive Revelry in the sideboard, and that's really it. That's all you can really bring in. So.
Yep. And Matt has Leyline of Sanctity as a 4 of and 1 Spirit Link.
Yeah. So that'll bump him up to a decent amount of life gain enchantments.
He could like bring in Seal of Primordium for Eidolon and to like seal his own things that get Revelry to keep his life total high, but I think that's
Yeah.
probably a little aggressive.
I mean, if that was a Nature's Claim, I would be more on board. But I think because it's...
Yeah, I agree. Nature's
it's
Claim is
sealed.
like enough. It does enough, like
Yeah.
it gains you enough life that like I dig that, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's worth it, but it's just not losing life is probably not worth it, you know?
Yeah, it's hard to gain 2, but if it's like gaining you 6, I'm like in. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. It's a
So-
6-point swing versus a 2-point swing.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, Chris is on the play this game. And Matt, the onus is kind of on Matt to put together his draw. Like, Burns don't do the same thing every game. It just depends on whether or not
Yeah,
Boggles
I mean,
can present.
Matt's also going to do the same thing every game. It's
That's
just
in theory. His deck's
depending
just,
on whether
his
or not
deck's
he's
just
dead when he does it.
Well, the problem though is like Matt's deck is just worse at it, right? Like Matt has to put together like
Yeah, he needs
a
to like,
Boggle plus
put together the Boggle plus another enchantment plus Daybreak.
Mhm.
He doesn't have courage, right?
He does not have unflinching courage. Matt might have courage in general, but I'm not sure.
Oh, I think he's a very courageous man to sleeve up this
Yeah, very courageous.
and
He's also
be 4-1 with it.
also my Mind Crank podcast co-host.
Oh, that's right. We got Max Brown is too busy for the plebs now, right?
He's too great, so we had to pleb it up a little bit. So we got Matt. Matt takes a mulligan down to 6. Seems like Chris is keeping, but this matchup, the mulligan shouldn't be too bad though. Like if Matt can just put a life-gaining enchantment on a Boggle, he'll be in a pretty good spot.
I mean,
Doesn't matter
so
how
many of his
he
cards
has.
don't matter at all anyway.
Right.
The only ones that matter are Daybreak Coronet, the first Boggle, and the other enchantment to make Daybreak Coronet live. And then everything else doesn't matter at all.
Right.
Now, the Revelry matters a ton from Chris.
Mhm.
And I think that Chris has a good game in this matchup post board.
No, I agree. I think Chris is far from dead. It's just like Matt had the game 1 draw.
It's
That's
just
pretty hard to beat.
weird. Oh,
He's got
Leyline of
Leyline,
Sanctity.
double Daybreak, Rancor, Razor Verge Thicket, and another card.
But it's just like not keepable if there's not a Boggle in that hand.
I think he's keeping. He's gonna scry. I mean, the Leyline could just dead everything. You know what I mean? Like,
Chris's best non-Revelry cards are all creatures.
I mean, the creatures are kind of pretty average in this matchup. Like, it's conceivable he like maybe trims on like Guide or something. I don't know. But Chris leads on Arid Mesa into.
Well, the creatures
Stomping
are
Grounds.
like, yeah, the creatures are like kind of bad once he has a giant first striking protection from creatures monstrosity in play. But like at every point beneath that, like at every point where the creatures will trade for or better against a Boggle, they're fantastic.
No, for sure. So Matt draws Horizon Canopy. Does not have a Bottle currently. This is kind of like the downside of playing the Bottles deck, right? Like sometimes you just draw.
It's just like
Rancor,
possible that
Rancor.
as we saw Matt like destroying with Daybreak Coronet game 1, that he could like lose the match without ever doing anything again.
Yeah.
Like that's how high variance his deck is. He might never cast another spell.
No, absolutely.
Which is ludicrous.
Yeah, no, for real. So Matt falls to 18 after the attack, and Chris will fetch Shock down to 14. I think Matt drew a Bottle. I think he drew a Delayed Cover Scout. So he's going to go Horizon Canopy into Delayed Cover Scout, taking a point,
Yep.
taking 3 off the Eidolon. or
Likely
two off
because he's
Eidolon.
immediately going to put another enchantment on it.
Yeah, he's going to Rancor it. So now Matt goes to
So that would be
13.
13, yep. Now he has to be Matt has to be careful about. I mean, he might not have the luxury to be careful, but that Revelry is in Chris's hand, and when he goes for Daybreak, he's just going to Revelry Rancor in response, and Daybreak falls off, and then he dies.
Yeah, that's going to be not great. I mean,
Which is how it works, by the way.
Yeah, if it's not a legal target while the spell is still in the stack, it'll fizzle.
He also like is tempted to Revelry Leyline here.
He is because he has like Lava Spike in his hand.
He like
I think-
Revelry's Leyline. He goes to 11. He spikes. He goes to 8. He attacks for 5, but he deals damage to himself. He untaps, puts Daybreak on. Now I don't think he can Revelry Leyline here. I think he just has to attack.
I think the attack is pretty good right here, right? Like Matt really can't afford to trade off his Boggle, and
He also can't block because like he can't win the game if he blocks.
no, absolutely.
And if he blocks, he could just Revelry Rancor if he really cared, or
Right.
he can just Revelry Leyline
Mhm.
and then trade with the Boggle, which is a resounding yes for Chris. Like that's definitely a victory for Chris.
Yeah, I think this puts Matt in a pretty tough spot because this Revelry is going to be just a huge blowout when it ends up coming down.
Chris is the standard 12 fetch lands in his deck that are 4 different fetch lands. The burn hipster, if you will. You could just play like Foothills, Myers, Mesas. But he has to play Tarns to, like... So people think he's playing a blue deck, but he plays, like, his first turn land.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I shocked myself in Thought Scour so I get my Tasigur out in the mirror. Actually,
I'm
dead.
yeah,
You just dealt 4 damage to yourself or whatever.
Yep.
3 damage to yourself.
So Chris adds another Monastery Swiftspear, and now he's super incentivized to Destructive Revelry, the ley line, right? Because
Not anymore.
well, just in the fact that it'll get more damage across. But
It would be
I think
4
Chris
more
has to be pretty disciplined here and just know that the only card that can beat me is
If
Daybreak
Chris
Coronet.
doesn't lose to Daybreak Coronet, I don't know how he can lose.
Exactly.
So I think
Matt
the play
drew
here.
a Slippery Boggle. Huh. Yeah, I think Matt's pretty forced just to jam the Daybreak and hope it's good. Like, his opponent might have Stallcrack. He might have a ton of different, like, there's a lot of cards that beat him.
And like he's super incentivized to jam because Skullcrack / Tarkus command is not the end of the world because his creature
it's just
has
not great.
vigilance.
Right, exactly. He
and
gets to
first
block.
strikes, so he would have to have another one of such effects.
Right.
Or lethal damage.
It's really only the Revelry that beats him here, and I don't think Matt has a way to play around the Revelry. Like, any play he makes is going to be bad against the Destructive Revelry. So he just has to
he's just
pray that
gonna
he doesn't
Daybreak,
have it.
And Chris is going to be like, idle on trigger. All right,
Yeah.
blow you out. Wait, he didn't do it.
I think he's going to...
He can do it at any time, right?
Yeah, I would do it now, though, because then the Daybreak Coronet just falls off,
It just
and he
falls
doesn't
off
even
at
have
any
the
time,
Rancor. Or does the Rancor be in Matt's hand?
As long as he has to wait for him to attack, I guess, so he can't like re-equip the Rancor. No, you're supposed to. So he doesn't know about the interaction, but that's okay.
That's fine.
I mean, this is still going to result in
it's a
Chris
pretty
winning
small
the
thing.
game.
Yeah, this puts Matt in a real tough spot, because now there's 4 in play, plus Eidolon's going to put him to 2 at the very least. And, like, Matt really doesn't want to trade. He has a Horizon Canopy in play. Like, it's not very good. Yeah, Matt falls to 4. And any spell here is lethal. Yep.
Yep.
And
Shows him
Matt
Boros
does.
Charm, points to his triggers, and going to game 3.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, being on the play in this matchup's pretty big.
Yeah.
The
It is. I think that the sideboard cards are really, really important.
No, for sure. I mean, the Revelry just like won the game right there, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that makes it hard for Matt is he doesn't really have a way to play around the sideboard cards or really reposition himself where the Revelry won't be insane.
It's not like he can be like, oh, well, like we'll just like bait out his Revelry and then we'll do something. No, like once he plays Revelry, you're just dead on the spot.
Yeah, it's
like
just
most of the time, and like maybe
and-
even if you're not dead on the spot, like you can't realistically win the game. Like there's just like you would need to have like a pretty ridiculous sequence of cards. I guess like with no board pressure, like Revelry destroys your Coronet and the other thing that was on it, you untap and play like Armor Coronet or whatever.
The thing though is like there's
But, like-
always going to be pressure, right? Like
Yeah, I mean I can't imagine hands that Chris would keep that don't have any pressure unless they're just like double Revelry hands. But even then, like if they just make a 6/6 or whatever, they're just gonna die if you have nothing. You can't race a 6/6 with like Boros Charm. And all that stuff.
I agree. It's just like Matt is put in a spot where he just kind of has to jam his thing and hope it's good. Like he doesn't have the opportunity to kind of finesse it.
The initiative is basically on him at all times.
Yep, if he can't keep up, he's gonna get burned out. So, but this is a pretty interesting topic. It looks like it's shaping up to
We had a
be.
huge viewer spike once we put Burn and Boggles on here
Yeah,
for
people
a win.
people love it. They
People
love
must really, really want to see Burn versus Boggles. I guess we could deliver again, right? Do we have another Boggles and another Burn?
I don't think we have another one, but we can. Well, we're gonna try to get Aiden playing elves against Evan. What is Evan playing? Jund.
Evan is playing Jund,
Okay,
I believe.
so that's our
yes.
backup feature because this one's gonna be done pretty quick.
It could be Death Shadow Jund, but I think it's just regular Jund.
Okay, so yeah, our top eight right now we've got Bant Eldrazi, Burn, Eldrazi Tron, and the 5-color aggro deck ended up going undefeated and drawing the top 8 that we saw earlier today. So
Yep. Nate Barton on Bant Eldrazi, Aaron Garrison on Burn, Josh Burke on Eldrazi Tron, and Lucas Mulho on Pillar of the Parents 5-color aggro, whatever you want to call it.
sweet.
So those guys all double drew into top 8. And then Brandon Klein and John Finkel are playing a win and in. Chris Juliano and Matt Hart are playing one right here. Devin Connolly and Joe Countryman are playing a win and in. And Aiden Colligan and Evan Garcia Renart are playing a win and in at table 6. And
So let's see. Down in the match, we got Temple Garden and Delayed Cover Scout for Matt, and then Chris leads on Inspiring Advantage into Goblin Guide, and reveals a Leyline of Sanctity on top of Matt's deck. That Leyline is just
that's
a
the best
card
place for a Leyline of Sanctity.
Yeah, on top. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, Matt can't really cast it. He has to pay 4 to cast it. But let's see how Matt can try to race this start. He's got a Griff Spoon in his hand, it looks like. Maybe a Rancor.
Rancor into Spirit Link right now would be pretty good.
That would not be bad. Matt has a lot of cards that are pretty good, but he's got to really find his...
He's got to have a good card to
race.
To shock himself there, right?
Yeah, I would think so. So he's got, let's see, Spider Umbra Rancor, Griff Spoon, Leyline Sanctity Land seems to be his hand.
If you're going to pass, I really like... If you're not going to attack this turn from Matt's position, I really like just playing Spider Umbra and a tap land. Like,
yeah, just gaining the virtual
being
2.
like, hey, like, you can trade the Spider Umbra for your Goblin Guide if you want.
Right.
Or you can, like, sit back and, like, it's possible. Because, like, also, like, he has the Rancor, and, like, provided that he's a 3rd land drop, like, it's super good. Because if he draws Daybreak, he can just, like, Rancor Daybreak. And, like, he thinks that, like, by attacking, he gets the Umbra off, which makes, like, Daybreak worse.
Mm-hmm.
And then he can just go, like, 1-mana enchantment Daybreak.
No, I see what you're saying.
I think it's kind of like a...
Maybe he's going to try to race here?
I think all these great, like, mental plays that I think of, I just, like, only think of them because I can see, like, both players' hands or whatever. Yeah. I'm not actually
it's a little harder to do at the table.
If I knew how to play Magic, I don't know if I would be doing coverage. I don't know, though. I don't think that holds true for everyone. Most coverage guys are pretty good Magic players. But.
No, definitely. Let's see. So, Christro's second land, Monastery Subspear, Lava Spike. So that knocks Matt down to 11 off the Lava Spike and then 7 off the attack. So this puts Matt in a spot where, like, he's really... Oh, man, another Leyline of Sanctity to the draw for Matt. That's pretty tough.
I mean, Chris is here beating things that are not...
Lifelink.
Well, things that are not Daybreak or Spirit Link. He's beating all those things.
Yep.
With reasonable efficiency. But, like, not really beating those things with this draw. And if Matt doesn't have one of those things that are, like, the most important things to have or whatever, then he's probably not going to win this game from the looks of it. I mean, there's a chance that he's got another turn. So he can just, like, play a land, like, play a Griff Spoon and pass, I guess, and try to block.
Yeah, it's not great. Like, Chris has 4 cards in hands.
Like, from this current board, no one spell kills Matt, though. He would need to have, like, a land plus 2 spells.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting that Matt
Which I think
didn't
he does.
elect
I think
to
it's
play the
Vantage,
Chris Spoon.
Bolt, and then I thought I saw a gold card. Chris must think this game is over because he played Meyer instead of what I thought was a Vantage. It could have just been the glare, though.
Maybe a Sacred Foundry. It's hard to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I feel like this matchup's pretty close, but the games are so one-sided.
I know what happened. I think he played Bloodstained Mire because of Searing Blaze on Dryad Arbor.
Okay. That makes sense.
I don't think that Searing Blaze should be in Chris's deck, and I don't think Dryad Arbor should be in Matt's deck. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, it's definitely in Matt's deck.
Yeah, he plays 1 Dryad Arbor.
But I think he should, like... Maybe he shouldn't board it out? He's going to get it right now. Like,
I assume
clearly
what's
he
has
happening.
to, right? Like, Bolt you, resolves, Bolt you. And
yeah, with the fetch on the stack. Sure.
That's the game for Chris. I mean, that's tough.
Chris takes it 2-1.
Matt drew double Leyline off the top that game. He just needed...
Looking for fun, informative Magic the Gathering analysis? Look no further than Kirwan'sGameStore.com. Team KGS has the best writers and content providers this side of Kaladesh. Whether you're looking for standard, modern, vintage, tournament reports, or deck techs, Team KGS will give you the insight and analysis to help with your Magic game. Check out Kirwan'sGameStore.com weekly for new videos and articles and see why KGS is the best place in gaming.